Hey, what's up, everybody? The V Club here, coming at you with another video. It's about anything and everything, lifestyle, the entertainment. I mean, literally anything and everything. Drones, electric cars, you name it. We talk about it. All right. Luke lacrosse strippers, all kinds of stuff. Anyhow, latest news that we talked about the other day was the defamation lawsuit settled ABC and Trump, but there's more to talk about. All right, beyond that one. So, let's get into it. But before we do, let's talk about the latest and what Kamala says here. It's always fun to hear what she has to say about things, her word salad speeches, and all that good stuff. So let's see what she says here. 'Cause they said that she's been making a word salad statement, and
well, the DNC.
She's been quiet ever since she lost, and so, it'd be fun just to kind of hear what she has to say about whatever it is she wants to talk about. Let's see.
Had their get together, and of course it's pretty much full of mourning this holiday season because they don't say Merry Christmas. But Gabby, Kamala Harris is still in fine form in the word salad department. I don't think anyone can beat her.
Yeah, she's the woman. She's not going away, is she? There she was speaking at the DNC, and it's funny, I speak to my mates that so desperately wanted her to win because she was a woman and because she's a woman of colour, but they say, when you listen to her, you just can't stand her because she has this skill.
Because she's straight up a DEI hire in the first place, and usually DEIs are not really that well qualified like they make them out to be. Because when you come to find out, you really see, through what they really are, they're really just not that qualified compared to like many other people.
Of being able to speak and speak and speak, but not make any sense.
Yeah, speak without saying anything.
So she's done that
really
once again for us. Here is the latest Kamala Harris word salad.
Nothing.
We are not defeated. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, you are.
We are strong. We are clear about why we are in this. And because you're here right now, I say, again, thank you, because not only are you clear about all of that, you're willing to put in the hard work. We cannot let any circumstance or situation or individual ever take away our power to know why we do what we do and our ability to then get that work done.
Okay.
Except she was defeated. She was badly defeated.
What the hell is she talking about this
Trump
time?
won in a landslide.
They didn't flip a single county.
Let's be clear, you were defeated. And how about, I assume that was just filmed in front of a completely empty room?
It was very quiet,
Because
wasn't it?
that's exactly right. Because
It was almost
in
like
any
an
normal
echo.
circumstances, any Democratic gathering, just like at any Labor gathering, Liberal gathering, people would be jumping up and down going, yeah, woohoo. And you can just see at that one, everyone's just looking at her going,
What?
we were defeated because of you. We want you. So, why is she still talking?
We're very...
I don't understand why she hasn't been disappeared.
It's a weird message.
She's supposed to be a non-person by now.
She
It's just
should
a
be.
meaningless message. It's absolutely not. It's like, yes, you were defeated. Despite having $1 billion, all the resources in the world, all the media behind you, all the celebrities behind you, everything behind you, you still completely and utterly screwed it up. And that is why everyone is staring daggers at you instead of applauding.
But if you believe Joe Biden, who was also at the Christmas end-of-year get-together for the DNC, at least they ran an honourable campaign.
We run a campaign that's basically scandal-free. It's hard to do in American politics these days.
Fine, scandal.
Scandal-free.
Let's see here. I mean, where do you begin with that one? All throughout, how they tried so hard to stack the deck against Trump, and they still lost, right? Interchanging candidates of the Democrats at the last minute, the amount of money spent, the smear campaigning. So, yeah.
He got the biggest laugh of the night.
I mean, he can't be serious.
No. No, not at all. Let's see. What else is there? So, yeah, so her meaningless, bullshit. I don't know. I think we'll miss that in the sense of something to laugh at and to yell at, be like, man, she's so full of shit. You know, so it's just funny. Thought I wanted to share that, you know, a little bit of a laugh, you know, because once you know, it's been quiet lately, and then once you hear it again, you're like, oh, what the hell is she talking about this time? You know, so I thought this was funny to share that. But yeah, so going back to this whole, you know, this whole lawsuit thing with Trump and ABC, that's a warning shot. It's a message being sent out there that you're not going to be able to get away with defaming and BSing and all this shit that keeps being said, you know, by liberals about everything. I mean, literally everything they're saying. Trump is Hitler, and you know, he's a rapist, and all this other stuff, right? That right there, that, you know, prove that, you know, your traditional media news is put on notice, because all this stuff has been left leaning. They've been smearing, they've been stacking and doing everything they can through lawfare, all right, to try to make sure Trump doesn't get elected, and they still lost, all right? So now Trump is trying just to kind of rein everything in since he won, and he's just putting out warning shots. So the first shot at ABC, now he is, you know, going after the Iowa Register, Des Moines Register in Iowa, over the final survey that he did, or that they were doing, their polls, that is, and how traditionally Ann Seltzer, throughout the years, all right, has been pretty close or very, very accurate, you know, in terms of the numbers being said and all that stuff. And so now that this has come, you know, it went from he had a sizable lead to barely hanging on to he's really losing badly, right? And it's just suspicious that all of a sudden, when he like took the state, like landslide winning Iowa, it was questionable how all of a sudden when that happened, the Ann Seltzer decides, you know, she said, yeah, she don't know what the numbers, why it showed what it showed, and flip the script and be like, I'm gonna retire now. So she retired, and I think it's to avoid trouble and ensuing trouble to come for her, because of the fact that when you look at it, it's like, how can that be if you were traditionally accurate, but yet you still, you know, like, we're way off for this particular election, being that how your traditional media, and you know, whether it's ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, all right, they're all stacked against Trump. So obviously they were, you know, this poll register, which is a very strong poll indicator among many states. Iowa is one of the strongest polls that is relied upon. You know, all of a sudden was on all about Kamala and stuff, and it's like it's questionable. All right, so let's listen to what CNN has to say about this.
We do have breaking news. President-elect Trump has sued the Des Moines Register and its retiring star pollster Ann Seltzer over a poll that had Vice President Harris ahead of him in Iowa. Trump ultimately did win Iowa. The suit argues the poll constituted election interference. At his news conference, Trump telegraphed this was coming.
I agree with that.
I want to expand on the defamation lawsuits. Could you see moving that to other people with individual platforms, social media influencers, people that...
Or newspapers, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do. I think you have to do it because they're very dishonest. I'm going to be bringing one against the people in Iowa, their newspaper, which had a very, very good pollster who got me right all the time. And then just before the election, she said I was going to lose by 3 or 4 points.
All right, CNN's Brian Stelter is with us now. Brian, you were part of the team that broke this story along with Paula Reed and Caitlin Polance. First of all, tell us what this suit is. This is not exactly a defamation suit.
No, unlike a lot of the lawsuits Trump has filed in the past, usually unsuccessfully against news outlets, this is not a defamation suit. This is a case in Iowa that relies on a pretty dramatic or aggressive interpretation of the Iowa Consumer Fraud Act. That's a law that prohibits deception when advertising or selling merchandise. So you can imagine Trump's legal team here looking for a law in Iowa they can use to sue.
If I was this bald right here, I would just shave the rest of it off. You might as well, all right? Unless you're planning on putting something back, I would just go for it all. Just shave it all off at this point.
And Selzer and the Des Moines Register and its parent company Gannett, and they've landed on this consumer fraud protection law. They're basically arguing that the poll was an example of fraud, that it was, quote, election interfering fiction. Now, as you said, John, Ann Selzer has a sterling reputation, or at least she did until this year. Her pre-election poll was wildly wrong, and she has acknowledged so. She went through the data last month trying to figure out what went wrong, and she came to the conclusion that she did her job the best she could, and the poll was all.
Well, of course you would say that to defend yourself. I mean, you're not going to sit there and say, yeah, I screwed up, or I did, set it up in such a way that it looks like Trump is losing. Of course, they're not going to say that. You're going to always say the proper context and say, oh, yeah, I did the best I could on it, and I just don't know why I did this.
Off for a variety of obscure reasons that just chalked up to the reality of the difficulty of polling. In other words, she's saying she reported the facts the best she could. But Trump is saying this poll was fiction. It distorted the final days of the election. This seems like a legal long shot. But oftentimes, when Trump files suit, the goal is not necessarily to win. It's to make his opponents suffer.
Both.
And this might be one of those cases, John.
Yeah, look, polls miss sometimes. I mean, that's why there's always a margin of error. This was way out of the margin of error, but polls miss sometimes. You talk about how sometimes Trump does this to cause pain.
All right, whatever. Let's take a look at this right here. See what these guys got to say here. Right over here on
I'm doing this not because I want to. I'm doing this because I feel I have an obligation to. I'm going to be bringing one against the people in Iowa, their newspaper, which had a very, very good pollster who got me right all the time. And then just before the election, she said I was going to lose by 3 or 4 points, and it became the biggest story all over the world.
That was President-elect Donald Trump speaking at a press conference on Monday where he made clear that he is going after the press. Here's a little bit more.
In my opinion, it was fraud and it was election interference. She's gotten me right always. She's a very good pollster. She knows what she was doing. And she then quit before.
Yeah.
And we'll probably be filing a major lawsuit against them today or tomorrow.
Yeah,
and so he did. Trump filed a suit late Monday against Iowa's Des Moines Register, renowned pollster Ann Selzer, and the paper's parent company, Gannett. He took legal action because the paper, based on Selzer's final polling before the election, suggested that Vice President Harris was ahead of Trump and slated to win the Hawkeye state. Of course, Trump won it overwhelmingly in the end. He is arguing violations of the Iowa Consumer Fraud Act, which bans deception when advertising or selling merchandise. Now, the suit comes on the heels of Trump winning a defamation suit against ABC and its anchor George Stephanopoulos, winning in the sense that ABC settled it. Media experts warn his actions could have a chilling effect on news and on political polling.
David Axelrod reacted.
Well, I agree, because the way the news has been treating Trump, right, they are anti-Trump, never Trumpers. They did their best that they could to just put him in bad light and everything. So to me, they weren't reporting facts. It was very slanted, maybe some facts, but very slanted. And they kept just piling on anti-Trump, this anti-Trump, that, it's like, it seems like they just never try to ever talk anything good about him. And so to me, this really is going to level the landscape. And if they don't get their act together in your traditional news media and just kind of just get back to just being impartial instead of just being left-leaning, then this is going to serve purpose of what Trump is doing.
On X, posting, quote, "Now Trump says he's suing the Des Moines Register because their poll understated his support, 60 Minutes because of their editing of the Kamala Harris interview, the Pulitzer Committee for honoring the New York Times. Welcome to Hungary, folks." And Richard Hanania wrote, quote, "Trump, I'm going to sue Ann Seltzer for releasing a poll I didn't like. If you care about free speech and the abuse of government power, he is the worst man in politics. You are a blind idiot if you don't see this."
Not how you view it, I would imagine, Mr. Schwab.
Well, I mean, I don't think everybody should sue everything for, all those people were in fact wrong. Ann Seltzer's poll was wildly inaccurate, gave false hope to the Kamala folks. She was wrong. She is now
very wrong because, the whole thing with that pollster is that if you were traditionally right and all of a sudden you flip the script and you're wrong, like way wrong, and to me there's something more deeper than that, because it seems like what they were doing was they're trying to get her on board the Kamala train, and to me it was election interference. I think we're going to find that there was some election interference going on here, and there was something deep that they just haven't uncovered yet with Ann Seltzer and the Des Moines Register or whatever, because all these traditional medias were skewed left big time. And look at the 60-minute interview they were referring to with the Kamala, where they edited out her speech, or her interview, I mean, not her speech, but her interview, where if it didn't come to light, we wouldn't have known that her 60-minute interview was edited to where she said one thing with some word salad to where she said another thing in a different part of the interview that they edited together to make it look like she had a square answer to a question that was asked to her. And so that right there, in essence, is interference as well, because they're trying to make her sound like she's saying something when she really didn't say it that way. And that can really sway people. All these tactics underlyingly can sway people, all right? But of course, traditional media is not going to say that. But these are just underlying schemes to try to get into people's minds to, oh, you know what, maybe she is the right person. Oh, you know what, maybe Trump is losing, And the tactics didn't work because obviously Trump still won. I don't think there's anything wrong with what Trump's doing here. I think he's doing what is right to fix the problem that we have with media right now. I've been turned off by traditional media because I used to watch traditional media all the time, but I got tired of the left-leaning and stuff that they were doing, and how everything is so Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, that I just got tired of it. I just stopped watching traditional media altogether.
Gone off into self-imposed exile because of how wrong she was. The Kamala Harris interview was, in my view, edited deceptively. I think they should not have done that. Now, do I think they should all be sued for being wrong? No, I don't think we sue people for being wrong.
No, I think they should be to send a message to fix things, like I was just explaining. It's to send a message to fix things, because obviously they're not going to learn if you just let things be like it's been these last few years. Like, this is just a warning shot message that you keep doing things the wrong way. Well, he's going to try to correct it. And that's what he's doing. He's just trying to correct the landscape. So that's what I think. And to me, it's suspect that all of a sudden she retired, right? Because had Kamala win, I don't think she would have just retired. I think she would have just kept going. But I think she retired to try to avoid any sort of anything coming against her.
Donald Trump is the president. He should focus on delivering on the promises he made to the American people. One of those being a greater respect for free speech. That's something that many of his top advisors, Elon Musk, RFK Jr., care a lot about. Censorship on social media. Suing people for saying things wrong can be, I would argue, a form of censorship. It's not something I'm in favor of, and so I would advise him not to do that.
So I think there's a separate issue here from just suing people because they're wrong. I have, as you're well aware, defended the whole idea of defamation lawsuits, and the whole reason for why we have defamation statutes seems very valid to me. Now, here what we have is Trump suing a pollster alleging that constitutes election interference. Now, I doubt that he himself really believes that, to be perfectly honest. I think that it is obvious that pollsters have a vested interest in trying to be right, or as close to right as they can. That result from Ann Seltzer was an outlier at the time. It did cause a big stir at the time because people did wonder, was she picking up on something that other pollsters were not picking up on? That was incorrect. The good people of Iowa came out and cast their ballots, and they cast them very heavily for Donald Trump. My problem here is twofold. One is I think that Trump is suing in a way that is intended to be intimidatory of the media. In other words, just to create the trouble of having to defend a suit, however ill-founded.
Yeah, it's funny how, when it's flipping the script now, right? Because they try to go after Trump for everything, and he has to defend himself with no help, right? For defending himself. So now that he's flipping the script and doing the exact same thing back to media, all of a sudden, no, it's so bad, right? That's what it sounds like he's saying here. No, it's proper to fix things because traditional media won't be fixed if he doesn't send a message. And because you can't just go after him for some bullshit, but Trump's going after you with facts. I mean, that's just what it is. So yeah, I think everything's right. What he's doing.
Vexatious it may appear to be. And then secondly, I think he is doing it basically for PR reasons, to fuel his argument that, the media is always corrupt and always against me. I think there are instances where Donald Trump is written about or talked about unfairly in the media, but I don't think a poll that proves to be completely wrong is one of them. I just think that it's a way to gain headlines, to bash the media, and there's no... I'm absolutely...
Yeah, these guys are full of it, man. These guys are dummies. I just use them just to kind of just show the full, argument about what is happening, and it's just funny how that is, Yeah, so that's what's happened there. He's also going after CBS for 60 Minutes. I don't think there's anything wrong with what he's doing, so let me see what else they have to say.
Fuddled by what he thinks the legitimate legal argument even is.
Look, I'm inclined to agree with you, although I haven't taken a close look at this law, this Iowa consumer deception law that is about false advertising and those kinds of things. As a libertarian, I would probably say that I worry such laws create permissions exactly like this for political figures or government figures to go after.
Shut up, man. It's just like how there's like open-ended laws and policies that they try to use to go after people like Trump, and then all of a sudden, when Trump's doing the same thing that liberals and progressives are doing to Trump and to other people, then all of a sudden it's bad, right? Get out of here, man. This guy, it's pretty annoying to say that. Yeah, right here, see? The news is not under attack. The opinion influencer machines are. They richly deserve it. The irony of Niall accusing Trump of using the courts to intimidate people after the exact same thing was done to him is just perfect. I mean, yeah. So you don't sue for being wrong. You sue for being deceptive. Note the difference. Exactly. If you don't sue, then the media won't stop lying. I mean, they know what I'm talking about. So, but these guys, they're fools, all right. So, and like I said, it's suspect. She retired. Things like that. So, it's just Trump's doing the right thing. I can't wait to see what happens to CBS, because CBS, when they edited Kamala's interview, that was wrong, right? Because that is election interference to make it look like she's saying something that she really didn't answer to, right? And other things that was mentioned. I think it's the right thing. So good for Trump, all right? Because, you know, it's funny how when Trump's doing this very same thing that the progressives were doing, and all of a sudden it's so bad, it's so bad. Oh no, it's against free speech. Get out of here, man. Trash, all right? Trash, trash, trash. So let's see what else we got real quick before we go. We all know the drones are taking over. The drones are taking over. And my whole thing with drones is that, all these mysterious drones are everywhere. Here's two things with drones, right? One is, what about the drones that we don't see, right? Like the ones with no lights on, the ones that are flying around with no lights on, they're just flying around. And even ones that are flying about in the daytime that we don't see, right? Sometimes they might be hard to see. And they're definitely quieter, harder to hear. And, they're not like airplanes. And you know what's funny is how many of these are flying around. And it's just funny how, they're not really doing anything about it. The government, that is. And it's like, shouldn't we be more cautious than how we're just looking at, there's just harmless little drones in the sky? I mean, there's more to it. And to me, I think we got to do something about it, or else it could get bad. And we don't know how bad things could get with all these drones flying around. I mean, they shouldn't even be in our skies. And as soft as the Biden administration is in general, it's just, man, something needs to be done. It can be a scary situation because, what are they here for? And why are they doing what they're doing? And no one's doing anything about it. And you can't trust the government, because the government is just downplaying the whole thing, and it's just crap how nothing's being done. So to me, man, I don't know what to tell you guys. It's just we just got to be careful and be diligent and keeping the eye in the sky to the skies and try to figure out what the hell is going on around here. And it's just funny how that is. That's all I got to say about that. And one other note. Let's see here. Chicago delayed budget vote after residents reject property. I already talked about that. I think there's bigger problems. See, no one inside Chicago hearing erupts into chaos over migrant spending. All right, so that happened the other day on Monday. So pretty funny how things are happening in Chicago. Talked about Chicago the other day. So we'll see what's in store tomorrow. But I wanted to talk about how all this election interference is biting progressives in the ass now, and I'm glad. All right, I'm glad. and I hope they get cleaned up. All right, because yeah, it's terrible what went on all these years, and I'm glad that something's being done about it. All right, so and it's simple. All you got to do is just get the facts straight. That's all it is, and stop. Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. All right, so that's my whole thing about it. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. And other than that, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'll see you next one.